Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. This is Tanush. So I'm making this video to respond to one of the comment which I received from, I think the name was Swati or something, where the person wrote that it's about my previous video wherein I have shared solution for insurmountable problems posed by planets like Saturn, Rahu and Ketu. So the comment was, how visit to temple is going to help us burn our karma. This is our karma and we have to go through. So yes, no doubt in that. So our planetary position in our birth chart is purely because of our karma. And I spoke about this in one of my video where I spoke about prarabdha karma. So the entire cycle of karma, how it acts. Like we have prarabdha karma, which is a karma assigned during this life, and we have sanchita karma, which is kind of warehouse of our entire karma from our stay in this material world. And then we have agami karma, where whatever actions we perform in this life, they create some karma which goes into this warehouse, and we need to kind of face this karma in the future, right? Surely, no doubt in that, it's purely due to our karma. Now what happens if our chart is bad, or position of certain planets are very bad, like suppose say Saturn is debilitated, or it's in conjunction with Moon, Mars, Sun in bad signs, in bad nakshatra. So sometimes it becomes very, very difficult to go through that particular dasha. Someone is going through Saturn Mahadasha, right? So if it is badly placed in conjunction with certain planets like Moon, it can give mental issues, emotional issues, depression. Person will feel low always, right? And a lot of infliction on mind. So this happens. Rahu, again, it's a planet of illusion, which gives different situations which makes us suffer if it is badly placed. And again, Ketu, planet of isolation. So if Ketu is badly placed, then one has to go through isolation, very extreme conditions. Now in these kind of conditions, what happens is one finds very difficult to go through the dasha. It's very difficult, and in some cases one has absolutely no help. And like I said, certain planets like Saturn and Ketu are planet of isolation. That you are already isolated from your near and dear ones, from your friends, your family, etc. So there is no one to help you. One is kind of lost. So when one is lost, when one has absolutely no hope, one sees no hope, one sees no way in the future, right? One is suffering extremely. So in these conditions, the best thing is to take shelter of that supreme energy, right? So and this I have learned from my astrology teacher, that when everything is going wrong in your life, and suppose your planets are badly placed, right? So the best thing would be, even better than doing remedies for individual planets like Saturn, Rahu and Ketu, the best thing would be taking shelter of that supreme energy, right? And because this is Vedic astrology, right? So we speak about Lord Narsinghdev, Lord Krishna, Vishnu, taking shelter of them. So based on your faith, you can take shelter of whatever you believe in, because ultimately everything is kind of one, right? There is one God. That's a known fact. So what happens when we take shelter, in the sense when we actually follow the spiritual path very seriously? So I'm not talking about all the rituals and everything. So when we take shelter of the Supreme, so that is when He releases us of that karma. And this is written in many scriptures, right? So in Vedic literature, we can find in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, that Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayisyami ma sucha. So he says that just abandon everything, take shelter of me, and I'll protect you. That is my promise. And I'm sure the same is mentioned in other scriptures like Bible, etc., right? Surely it should be mentioned. And this practically I have seen in few cases, and that is the reason I also made one video. I think the title was "Mother of All Remedies," wherein I spoke about when nothing works, chant Vishnu Sahasranam, because Vishnu, as per Vedic, thought process, Vishnu is the Supreme Lord. He is the Supreme Lord, and when we take shelter of Him, He will gradually relieve us of this pain, and because the Supreme only has that power, right? So they have that prerogative to let us go through that karma, and that doesn't happen easily. So if you just go and just pray once, it's not going to happen. So we need to follow that spiritual path. Once you follow the spiritual path, once you take shelter of the Lord will actually take control of your life, right? So the Lord will take control of your life, and that is when no planetary arrangement will actually work upon you. They cannot inflict problems, pain on you, unless the Supreme sanctions, right? So when you take shelter of that Supreme power, that is when you are actually relieved of these things. So otherwise you may do remedies for Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, and you will find some difference, 10%, 15% change in your life. But when you take shelter of that Supreme energy, that is when you are kind of relieved of the situation, and you have to really take shelter. It's not some ritualistic thing, or so do meditation, whichever way you can do, take shelter of that Supreme. And because this is Vedic astrology, that is why I have mentioned visiting this temple. And this temple is very special. It's very special, and in recent past couple of months, I have seen cases where people were inflicted by external entities or going through rough dasha of Saturn, and when they visited this temple and did whatever rituals they have to do, taking proper shelter of the Lord, they got a lot of relief. And many people came out of very difficult situations, difficult problems, and that is why I have mentioned it. And it is also my personal experience. I just don't speak like that. It is my personal experience. So again, I reiterate that if you are going through insurmountable problems posed by this planets or conjunction, that is when I recommend you to visit this temple. And the Lord or the Supreme Energy or God, whatever you call, only he or she has that power to let you go through the karma, right? No other entity, no other person, nothing is going to change your life, right? So you can wear gemstones, you can do puja rituals for Shani, Saturn, Rahu and Ketu, you'll get little relief. I'm not discouraging people for doing that, because many people do, they get a lot of relief. But when life goes haywire and one is struggling so much that they feel I cannot survive anymore, so that is when you have to take shelter of that Supreme Energy or Supreme Lord. And hence I made that video, because it is helping many. So it's not that we are going through some little problems, you go there, you will find solution. No, you have to go there, take shelter. And clearly I've mentioned that when it is very difficult, when you find things are very, very difficult, that is when you can do that remedy, and then you can see how things work, right? So guys, this was my explanation about that comment. Thank you so much. I'll be back with another video.